So hi guys, welcome to today's video. And today's video is about running SQL queries with PowerShell. Okay, and this video is not about the basics of the SQL. Okay, because in that way that this video will be very long, and I don't want that thing. Here I'll be running the SQL queries by using PowerShell, and we will be verifying the results here in the this is called SQL Server Management Studio. So whatever queries we will be running here in the PowerShell, we will be verifying the output of the PowerShell here in the SQL Server Management Studio. Okay. And for that, I am assuming that you are familiar with the basic SQL queries of creating a table or creating a database, entering table, updating the values or adding values into the table. So I'm assuming that you know all of these basic things, which I'm not going to discuss here. Okay, so I'll be running the SQL queries and in PowerShell, and then we will be verifying here what is going on. So let's start. So first of all, let's create a test database. Okay. In order to create a database, we need what we'll be doing is um, we have a command in SQL, and that is create a database. But for that, first of all, we have to define. Um, just give me a moment.
So guys, before starting running, before starting, before starting, I like to create some variables here. So while running the SQL queries, we need to have some variables in the PowerShell for the PowerShell actually. We will be using our these variables to as input parameters. So these variables are you have to give the server name. Okay, server name is basically this thing or server instance you can say this highlighted one, this Satish and MS SQL server. Also, this is the name of the server. Okay, or the server instance you can say. So I have to give this name. Okay, and then I have to define table schema. I will be using this table schema and table name and this database name later on. But for the sake of this video or for the sake of starting, what I'll be doing is I'll be creating a database, test database, and then I'll be implementing or running all the queries on that test database. Okay, so in order to run the we have a CMDlet. First of all, you need to install one of the PowerShell modules for this purpose. For running SQL queries, you need to install PowerShell modules. There's one PowerShell module which is called SQL Server. So first, let us find out whether this module exists or not. And in order to find out these modules, you have to use a CMDlet call find module. Then you have to give the name of the module. Okay, so here it comes, and there is a module called. I'll be searching all the modules which are related to SQL. So I'll be using this wildcard SQL and then the star mark, and it will search for all the PowerShell, all the SQL modules. So let's find out first, and let's see what happens. What is the output of this simulate find module? So it will be searching, and let's wait. Um, Okay, you can see it. Okay, it is giving you details of all the modules whose name starts with SQL, and then afterwards you can see. So there are a number of, I think there are a lot of modules available for SQL purpose, but the modules which we will be using is this one, this SQL Server module. So in order to do that, first of all you need to install in you need to install this module in your PowerShell. Okay, so how you can do that? You can use a simulate called install uh, module simulate, and then can give the name, and then this SQL server. I have this module already installed on my system. Okay, let's see what happens. What output it will get because I have already installed this module. So it is installed. So you can install this module by using this template. So in order to use this module in your PowerShell PowerShell script, all you have to do is to import this module, uh, import module, and then you have to give the name of the module, this name parameter, and then you have to give the name of the module, which will SQL server in this case. Okay, so and now once you have to again run this uh, module, and now it has imported the SQL server module. Okay, so now let me clean this console. Okay, now since we have imported the module, now we can begin our first step, and this first step is by using a simulate call invoke SQL CMD. Uh, if you want to run any of the SQL queries, then you have to use this simulate call invoke SQL CMD. So first of all, I like to create a test database. Okay, the first query which I'll be running is to create a test database, and then I will be verifying this data creation of this database here in the SQL Server Management Studio. So right now you can see that you have only two databases here: system database and database snapshot. Once I run the command, then you will see a new database here will be added. So first of all, let us verify by refreshing that we don't have any new database here. So as you can see, there is no new database. So now I'll be running the command. So here you can say I'll have to give the name of the database, one parameter, which is basically this server name. Okay, and then I have to give this query here. I have to use this query parameter, and then I have to uh, write the SQL query for creating database here. So creating a database, we have a query called create database, and then you have to give test. I will be giving this test db. I'm giving the name of the database as test db. Okay, so now let's run this query and let's see what happens here. In case if I am running this whole of the instance on my local machine, so I don't have to, means if you are using if your database server is somewhere else, then you can, and then in order to access that database you'll have to also give the username also. So you can give the username, and then suppose this is username. Right now I don't have any means, I'm running everything on my local machine, so I don't need to give this username, and then you can give the password. Okay, for if your database is not on your local system. Okay, so you can use these two parameters, but right now I'll not be using this, is because everything is installed on my local machine here. Okay, so let's run this command simulate, and let's see let's run this query and let's see what happens. uh, just creating a database right now, and okay, what I did is uh, I had to give this server instance here, and then we can run. Let me clear this out first, and now let's run. Now you can see that it has created, because there is no error here. So let's verify whether this data is created or not. So here you can see that there is nothing. You can see there is no database present here. So how we can what we can do is, one, we can refresh it. Okay. Now since we have refreshed it, we can say, you can see that there is a database created here. Okay, and you inside this database you have these folders present. Okay, now whatever queries we will be running, I'll be running here in this newly created database, and you can see that these are some default default um, folders actually, you can say. For now you can call them as folders only. So these are some of the default folders, which once you create any database, these things will be present. Okay, okay, so now since we have created a database, now we have to run queries. So now the first thing which I'll be running is I'll be creating a table. Okay, and I think you must be familiar with all of the SQL different languages in SQL. For example, for creating tables and altering tables, you have DDL, okay, data definition language. in which you can create tables, you can alter tables, you can update tables. Okay, you can even delete columns, you can add columns. So this category is for altering or for creating tables. Okay, so let's create a table first. So in order to create a table, you can see sorry, you can you can see here that there are different databases. Okay, so whenever you are creating table, you will have to define in which database you want to create the table. Okay. For example, here this is system database, and we have different databases here. Okay. So if I want to create a table here, then I'll have to define in which database. So I'll have to define separately that I want to create a table in this master database. Okay, so I'll be creating everything here in this test database. So I'll have to define in PowerShell that which database I want to create, in which database I want to create the table. Okay, for this, how I can define? I have to use a parameter called database here. And database is what? This database is, now I can use this variable. This is test db. So now I can use this test database. So you can see that we have this test data db. So I have defined that I'll be running all the queries here in this test db database. Okay, so let's create a table first. So we'll be running very first cmd, right, for this purpose. So let me create a separate variable for let me create a separate variable for this. Okay, so I'll be creating a variable, and then I'll be writing the SQL queries and storing that SQL queries in those variables, and then I'll be calling those variables here in uh, the query parameter. Okay, so let me create a variable called, let us create a variable called uh, query one. Okay, so in order to create a table, what which query we use? We use create table and then name of the table. So I'll be creating a table which will be for storing employees details. Okay, so let's first name this table as employees. Okay, and then in this table, what all fields will be there? There will be name of the employee. So employee name, and then this data type of this employee name will be variable character, which I will be defining of 20 characters, and the constant will be not null. It should not be null. Then employee age, data type will be int, and this should not also, this should also be uh, not, this should not be vacant. Employee ID, it should also be an integer, and it should also not be, it should not be null. Uh, we don't have, we don't go insert comma. You have to give the database, sorry, you have to give the define the data type, and then you have to define the constants. Means what you want that whatever field is there. So what all conditions you want with that field? Means it should be null, it should be not null. These kind of things. Okay. So okay, employee age, and then department. Okay. Department can be department variable character, and department can be empty. Okay, so I'm not defining any constant here. Okay, so let's create these this table and with these four fields here. Okay, so first let me show you that we don't have any tables here. So this is a table section, and let us see whether there is any table added here or not. So, you can see that you can see here that there is one table here, but I'll be creating a new table here, which will be a name, which will be of employees detail, and the name of that table will be employees. So you can see that once I run the query, a new table will be present here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, and so let me clear this out, this query, and now we'll be running. I'll be using this variable called query1. Okay, and now let's run it. What does it say? Okay, sorry. The variable name which I'm using here is incorrect. Okay, now let's see. Now let's run it. Okay, I'm sorry. Now you can see that it has run, and let's verify this thing here. You can see this is the test DB database, and you can see right now there is no table called employees. So let me refresh it first, and let's go back here, and you can see that a new table has been created. And let's see the parameters here. What are the columns, basic things or basic property of this employees table? What are the columns present? So you can see that we created a column called employee name. Okay, a variable 20, which I have already defined here. Employee age, employee ID, department. Okay, so this table is created. So here let me give this heading called we are running DDL queries, or you can say uh, we are running a data definition language. Okay, so this is query one. So next I'll be running another query here, which will be, sorry, query two. Okay, and so what I'll be doing here is I'll be running query to alter table. Means to, if I want to create a new column. So how I can do that? Okay. So what query I'll be running? So for that, for example, let me add a new column. For example, here we have this employee age, employee name, employee ID, department, and I want to create one more column of salary. Okay, in this um, employees table. Okay, so how we can do it? So creating a table here. So just we created. Let me define it. We just created a table. Creating a table. Now adding new field. Sorry, adding new column. So how we can do that? We can use alter table then name of the table, employees, and then add, and then we have to give the name. So here I'll be giving the name um, salary. It will be int and it should not be null. Okay, so let me replace this thing here. First of all, let me run this portion so that this thing gets stored here in query 2. Okay, now let me change this thing. Okay, and now let me run this separately. Okay, this has run successfully without any errors. So let's check whether that new field has been added or not. So right now you can see there are only 4 fields present. So let us refresh this. Now let's see the columns. You can see that there is one more field added here. Let me run one. Let me make one more. Let me add one more field here. So order query 3, and I'll be copying. Okay, I'll be copying this. I'll not be writing the whole query. So this was salary, and let us add one more field of uh, location. Okay, location, and it should be variable character. Okay, how to write this variable character? That is varchar, and it should not be null. I'm giving this constant. Okay, and let me run this so that it gets stored in the query 3 variable. And now let's run this. Okay, so this field is added again. So let us refresh this thing. Let me open this. Okay, so you can see this field is open. Okay, and you can see, let us see, there is something present. No, there is nothing present here in the keys section. So I'll be what I'll be doing is I'll be creating a variable, or what I'll be doing is uh, I'll be making this one of the fields as primary key. Okay, so what I will do is I'll be running another query called query 4. Now here we can see that we haven't created any primary key here. Okay, so if you want to create any primary key, well, what we would have done earlier, that we would when we created the table, then we would have defined the key. Now suppose means I have forgotten. Now if I want to add any primary key, then what I can do, I can again use this alter table, because we are altering the table. Okay, whatever structure we are there is of the table, I am altering that. Once that structure is created, then if you want to do anything or modify any of the constants, any of the data type, if you want to create a field, then you use the alter table. Okay, so what I'll be doing here is I'll be adding a primary key, or I'll be using one of the fields, and I'll be making that field as the primary key. Okay, so I'll have to use this same template, alter table employees, and then I have to define add. When we added the column, then we added we actually defined gave the column name, and then we defined the variable data type, and then the constant. So here we'll be adding a constant, so we'll have to define that we want to add a constant, and we have to give the name of that that constant. So I'll be defining uh, my primary key. Okay, the name of the key, and then I'll be defining the name, the field, okay, which I'll be using as primary key. So I'll be using here the employee ID. Okay, so let me run this query. Okay, there is only this. Okay, okay, I did that. Okay. So let's run it. What happened now? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let's run now. Now you can say this has run successfully, and let's see whether this field is added here or not. Let me refresh this, and now let's check. Okay, and there you can see that this field is created. Now let's see what is here. Constant field. Okay, don't have we haven't created any constant here separately. Okay, no problem. So this is about altering the table. Now what if you want to drop table? Okay, what will happen? There is one command called truncate. Now what it will do is we can see that uh, we have created a now we have created a table, but we haven't there is no data inside that table. Okay, there is no data present inside that table. Okay, there is nothing, no details. So suppose in this case, let me add few fields. Okay, let me add some information into the table, employees table, and then I'll make through means then you will see that there is one cmd let called sorry there is one uh, sql query which is to truncate a table. Okay, there are basically two things: truncate table and then drop table. So there is a basic difference. If you will truncate the table, then that will not delete the structure of the table, but that will delete all the information stored in that table and it will keep the structure of the table. But if you drop the table, it will delete the whole of the table. Okay, so when you will truncate, everything stored here in this employees table will be deleted, but this table will remain there. And if you drop that table, then this field will also, or this table will be deleted. So let me first, in for this, for demonstration purpose, let me add a few details. Okay, in order to um, add the details or add information into a table. Okay, what we have to do is we have to run a separate query for that, and this is actually called data dml, data manipulation language. So let me create another query, and I know that you people will be familiar. Yes, verify, and this is the uh, query into employees, click on employees, name, let's go. uh, age, employee age, and employee ID, employee age, and department, and and department, and then we also added two more fields: salary and location. So salary and location. Sorry. Values, uh, the name of the employee, uh, Name of the employee will be suppose name of the employee is John, and then employee ID, let that be 12, and then employee age will be suppose 25, and then salary, let the salary be 20,000, and location, let that location be in New York, uh, since it's a string. Okay, so let me run this first, and now let us run this query here. What is happening? Oh, I'm sorry guys, please bear with me, I'm very bad at typing. Oh, oh sorry, there was department name also, so let me, and this is a character type. After you can see this, after employee name, employee ID, employee age, there is department details. So I have to fill that field. So let the department will be that be tech, and now let us run. Now I think okay, it has run, and let's see. Let me refresh it. Okay. Now, if I want to see the table contents of the table, so let's see how we can see the contents. For viewing the content of the table, let me create another query. Okay, this is select from employee. Okay, okay, let's see what happens. So you can see this new table has been created, and this is the details or data inside that the table. So can we verify that thing from here? Yes, we can. Here this you can click on the new query. Okay, and let's run that same CMD letter, same query here. Select right from employees. So let's see what happens. You can see that this field is created here. The data is created here. So let's create another one more. Let's add one more information here. Okay. So let me modify the fields here. Let that be Jack. Um, that's the employee is B13, age B26, department suppose sales. So let's modify the department is sales, and this location will be uh, so let's add this query, and this query is query 5, and it has created. Now again let's add query 6. Let's run this query to see the contents of the table. So you can see there are two contents here. So let's verify the same thing from here also. Let's run this query again, and you can see there are two tables created. Let's create one more one more data of an employee. Okay, so how we can do it? Again, we'll be doing the same thing. This time, let that thing Smith. His employee code is 15. His age is 20. Uh, Department is marketing. 30,000. New Jersey, and this. The location of this will be Washington. Okay, Washington DC. Okay, so yes, and this. Okay, and now let's see the contents. So you can see that there are three employees. We have the details of three employees, and let's verify the same from here also, where it is stated. So you can see. Okay, so I did this exercise just to show you the details. Means there are details in this table. Means you have a table created, and there are different fields created in this table. So these are the details, few details of employees. Basically, there are three employees. Now, whole purpose of this doing this thing was um, just to show that what truncate table means. Okay. Getting a table will what it will do is it will erase all of this information, but it will keep the structure same. The table of the structure will be same. So let's see what happens. So let me create one more variable here. For query 7 will be truncate table employees. Okay, so let me run this query. Now it has truncated, and you will not see any now the whole of this information is erased, and you will not see any output here. So let me run this query 6 here. You can see, and same can be verified from here also. Now if I'll execute the query, you will not see anything here. See, everything is related, but the the structure of the table is same. Okay, now there is one more uh, query which will delete this whole table. Now you can see here that this table is present, but once I'll run that query, that this table will be deleted from the database. Okay, so how we can do that? But be careful, be very careful while you are doing everything, all of this thing in environment, in a production environment. Okay, because once you delete this thing, then you cannot revert it. So let me create one more query. Query 8, and this will be drop. So this will be drop table employees. Okay, so I'll okay. So now just see this thing. Okay, you can see that we have this table, and now what will happen if I run this table? Okay, I am going to run the query 8, and let's see what happens. Okay, now if I'll run this query query 6, then what output it will give is invalid object name employee. Okay, so there is no table, there are no table with this name exist here. Now let me run this also. So, 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 let me run this also. invalid object name employees. And let me refresh this, then this whole of the field will be gone. So let me refresh it. You can see the employees table is deleted. So So this was all about DDL. Okay, DDL means data definition language. So this is one part where you create the table and you create the structure of the table. You can alter table, you can truncate it, you can drop the tables. Okay, you can add constants, you can add a data type of a field. Okay, so this is just about creating the structure of a table when you create it in inside a database. So this is just one part of the running SQL queries with PowerShell. Okay, so let me end this video. This is because the video is very long. So in the next part, I'll be running basic SQL queries. For example, adding here I ran one of the DML or data manipulation language inserting values into the newly created tables. So I run one of the queries, but we have many queries here. For example, you have if you want what if you want to create whole of the if you want to get the output or queries of the whole of the database by group by order by. Okay, and if you want to run certain conditions, means for example if you want to means you have logical queries also, you have queries based on certain conditions. Okay, so these type of basic queries I will be covering that thing in the next video. You can sort queries. Okay, you can create two different tables and then you can join those tables. These are few of the things which we will be discussing in our next video. This video is just about the creating tables and defining structure of the table. So I hope you would have found this video very useful, and if this is the case, then give a thumbs up to my video. And if you have any question, then you can ask those questions in the comment box. I try to answer the queries. Okay, so this was about the basics of SQL, and this is one of the video I'll be continuing covering or continuing